Oh, let me see, that's why I'm giving
wait for
them
it.
out.
Thank you.
Oh.
If your home is owned in trust, only the trustee shall execute the declaration.
Could I have one of the trust ones?
Sure.
So are you the trustee or somebody else? Okay, so he's the one that's gonna have to sign this.
He lives on state.
We might need more, but we'll wait and see, because she,
Okay. When you did it
You'll
for
have
Homesteading,
two one of
I
one.
was the trustee for the whole estate. So anything that fell behind.
I know the tax bill and everything comes in, you know, him.
I'll take the discounts, that's about it. Don't use the word. You good, Olga? Right?
By now, they do.
Right.
62.
Right?
Still gotta wear
That's why we're here.
You good? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sherry Lynn Mello. I am the Register of Deeds for Bristol County South. We cover property for Acushnet, Dartmouth, Fairhaven, New Bedford, and Westport. Today I have brought along with me my assistant registrar, Scott Aguiar. We have Olga Valadeo, Kevin Wentz, and Linda Oliveira. Olga is supervisor of our recorded land department. Linda would be supervisor of our registered land department. And Kevin is supervisor of the copy center. So the registry records documents that pertain to real estate. If you're buying, selling, mortgaging, paying off your mortgage, so you can record the discharge. If you have any paperwork coming in from the towns, if you're putting an addition on, things of that nature. A septic system would have to go through us, all of that stuff. You have in your property surveyed, the plans would get recorded at the registry. So today we're here to talk about homesteads and property fraud alert. The registry offers property fraud alert that is a program that is built into the software that we provide for searching. When you sign up for property fraud alert, you just have to follow through on the website of how to do it. Now, property fraud will, property fraud doesn't prevent fraud. It alerts you, once you sign up, that your name has been recorded at the registry. Now, I believe all registries in the Commonwealth, all 21 of us, have the property fraud alert. So basically what it does is, so it's under, this is our home page. If you go under homeowner advocacy and you go under, oh, that's me, nope, that's not what I wanted. Click for me, property fraud. Okay, so this is what it explains to you about the property fraud. So if you would like to sign up for it, you just have to click here, and it talks to you about it and tells you how it works, okay? Then if you would like to sign up and continue, you click the continue button. And then it would ask you for your email address. Once you enter that, it'll ask you for your name and your address for the alert. So basically what's going to happen, how you get alerted is through email. So it's going to ask for your name. Now, let's just say that some people in the area that we live in may have the same name as someone else, like especially in the New Bedford area, a common name of, say, Manny Santos or Manny Soares. So if a few of those Mannys have signed up, when their name gets recorded, if they have signed up for property alert, if their name is recorded at the registry, they're all going to get the alert that that name was recorded at the registry. They would have to log on to the website, and I'm going to, Kevin, can you get me back to the main page? Yep, please. They would have to log on to the website and go to record search. So once this explains to you how to search the records, and all you would have to do is click here to search the system. You would enter your name here, last name, first name. Okay, if you want to put a specific town, you're allowed to do that, and you can just hit search. Anything for your name will pop up. Now, we didn't hit a specific document type like a deed. We just hit anything. So anything will show up here. Kevin, I can't scroll. For Manny Santos. And then you would just see if there's a deed with that date that you got the alert and who sold it, who bought it, and it'll give you a description of the property and a booking page number. Now, if that's your property, there's a few things that you would have to do. You probably have to call us to make sure it is your property. I would suggest, you call the DA's office, your local police station, to let them know that there's been fraud and somebody has sold your property and it's not you. Have we seen that? Absolutely not. We haven't. I have had a couple of calls into the registry that there was a realtor from Dartmouth. She was going to be listing a property in Westport. It was vacant land. So she had a couple of questions about, the property. The gentleman that contacted her was from New York, and he had a license with his picture on it and the name of the person who owned the property. A couple of red flags came up to her, and she thought, let me call the registry. So I gave her the address of the owner who owned the property, and it was a husband and wife, an elderly couple. They lived in East Providence, and they owned vacant land in Westport. A gentleman from New York was trying to sell their property. However, the realtor saw the red flags, called us, and then I ended up calling the couple that owned the property, spoke to them. They said they were not selling their property in Westport. They called the local police and whatever. Transaction was stopped because the realtor caught on to it. Now, for things like that to happen, it's like a chain. It's like a domino effect. It has to start with the realtor. They're the ones that need to know if this is real or not, because people are coming to them to list the property. We're kind of your last stop, is the recording of it all. So it goes from the realtor, then there's the mortgage company, if there's a mortgage involved, there's the closing attorneys, there's all of that before it even gets to the registry. So we have not seen that. However, that same couple, we have electronic recording where people don't even have to come into the registry to record. They can just submit it through e-file. The name came up in an e-file document that was being recorded, and when it was one of the local law firms downtown. So I called the law firm, and I wanted to question the recording because I already knew that the gentleman wasn't selling the property. However, the gentleman was in the office and he was selling his property. So that was a legit thing at the end. Beginning, absolutely not. It was somebody in New York who had their license with their picture and that gentleman's information to sell that property. So we have not, other than that, we have not seen any property fraud. We have not seen anybody recording property that they don't own and taking it from anybody else. However, the property fraud alert is something that it's free to sign up, and it's another protection for everyone. Yes?
What was that website again?
Sure, the website is www.newbedforddeeds, with an S, all one word, .com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you made aware, like if you go to file something that has a fraud alert on it, does it alert for you?
No, it does not. No. So the fraud alert, again, is a program that is written into the software. The software is what you're searching, right? So Kevin, go to, yes. So like here, if you wanted to search a name, this is the software. That program is built into it for that. There's no company that you can talk to, anybody. There's nothing. All we can do at the registry is explain to you how to sign up for it. And it's basically you need to go to the website and follow under homeowner advocacy the directions of what to do. And it's basically your email and your name and your address probably, and maybe a phone number. And then what that will do, it will register with the software developer and the program and the software itself. And then anytime that name gets recorded, you'll get an alert. And again, people have the same names, so you got to really search for it to make sure that it's not you. The other protection you can have, and it's not for property fraud, it's just protection from being sued, would be the homesteads. I think they passed out all the pamphlets to you, and those homesteads will protect you up to $1 million. They were 500,000. I think it was about a year or so ago that they increased it to $1 million per person in the household who's on the homestead. So it doesn't protect you from not paying your mortgage. It doesn't protect you from things like that. However, if you are being sued, they cannot force you to sell your home because you're protected under the Homestead Act. Always a great thing to have. Back in the day, the homesteads, if you were under 62, you filled out the regular form. Now there's over 62 forms, so if you filled it out probably in 2009, you might want to just double check with us to make sure that you have one that's like over 62, so you are protected. If your property is in a trust, we have forms for the trusts as well, and the trustees would sign that. Yes?
What if one person is over 62 and the other owner isn't?
I believe they would each file.
You each have to do.
Yes, you do your own.
What does the over 62?
I don't think there's any other extra protection, is it, for over 62? I think it just on the homestead form itself.
There used to be a dollar difference, but for the state,
Natural persons, I can't
gives it
even.
a different category because even though we are not totally aware of what the benefits are for declaring a senior citizen homestead, there must be, and the Secretary of State will probably give you those very fine details of what it is, the difference, but they do ask that you declare it separately.
Sherry.
Obviously,
I'm trying to read it.
Two can declare on there, and
Yeah.
one can declare over 62. Because she said no, both separate.
They both can
You
declare.
can both declare on one.
Okay.
One just signs into the 62.
Oh, right,
Wherever
wait a
that
minute.
is, you know what I mean?
I am an L, so this one and then that one.
Yep, they both put their name there, then
And they can
whoever's
do it
the older,
separate. They can
can
put
do it
that,
on
yep.
the same form.
Is this the talking about, I can't even see this. Is this the disability thing? Like if
Yes.
this-
Yep,
Okay, so I
yep,
want to talk about
yep.
that if anybody's disabled.
well, we know that the state asks that you declare on an elderly or senior citizen homestead once you turn 62.
Olga, I think they can actually declare on the same one. Linda just brought it up. If you're over 62, you can put it here. If you're under 62, you can put it there. So I think you can do it on the same.
That's true. The
Yes.
new form does have a
Yeah,
spot.
yes. And the form on this form, this is what I'm trying to read, but the print is so small. If you are disabled, you can actually fill out the homestead form, but you have to have a letter, the award letter for disability that has to be attached to the homestead from the Social Security Administration. And signed, or a letter signed by your physician registered with the Board of Registration in Medicine, certifying that each person meets the disability requirements. So that is also something that if you haven't had done, you probably would want done, to have the disability letter. So the registry is made up of two different sections, recorded land and registered land. And everybody says, oh yeah, my property's registered. We understand that. However, the registered land department deals with land court in Boston. They guarantee title on everything. They guarantee your meets and bounds. And it's part of West Island, most of West Island.
All of West
All
Island.
of West Island is registered land. Do you want to talk a little bit
Sure.
about it?
Massachusetts is the only state that still has registered land. Maybe a third of it is registered land because three main reasons: boundary disputes, tax title, lost heir. The West Island, that is all registered land because they had to split it up. So that was all boundary dispute back then. You're not going to see any new registration over $20,000, so a lot of people aren't doing it anymore. It's very expensive to do, quite the process. But you would put all your stuff up into land court, whole registration process, your land becomes registered, you're guaranteed by the Commonwealth of Mass your bounds. So when a deed comes into the registry, as a land court worker, we have to make up the certificate of title because that's an extra that you're guaranteed by the state is a certificate of title which has all your bounds on it. So say you had to go to court, you're disputing your neighbor, they got recorded land, you got registered, you rule automatically. Your bounds are here, there's no disputing, well, blah, blah, your bounds rule by the Commonwealth. And like I said, it's only about 1/3% of the land in Mass is registered.
Right, both.
That's about the only the downfall with registered land is if, say you own this piece, this is registered land, you got this piece over here that's recorded land, never got registered. So now you own reg and unreg land. So whenever you come in the registry, it's like a double fee because you got to record it on the registered land side and the recorded land
For which
side.
one?
So that's probably the only downfall from what I hear, you know, and the expense of it initially. But usually everybody likes it because you're guaranteed your bounds, you know. There's no disputing of them.
So there was boundary disputes, what were the other two things that you said?
Lost heirs or tax title.
Lost.
Lost heirs. Those are the three main reasons. There's tons of reasons, but those are the usually three main reasons why becomes registered. Any questions? Everybody's good? And the Homestead Act works the same way, no different. You just got to put a different, like when you own registered land, you're given a certificate of title as your reference. When you own recorded land, you're given like a book and page. They give books and pages to everything. So that's kind of how you know the difference. If you got a book and page, you know, more than likely you're recorded land. Certificate of title, once you hear that, that's got to be registered land, because why do I have a certificate of title number? That's kind of the only way of knowing the difference. You know, when people come, because average Joe we don't know what we own till we, you know, go to sell it, or, you know, the realtors explain everything. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So the other part of the registry is our recorded land department, and I'm going to have Olga talk on that behalf. Not yet.
Oh, I can't complain.
There you go.
I was going to start with a complaint. I'm going to say it anyway. They speak. They save me for last every single time. They want me to speak, and they've already said everything.
No, we have not.
She's silly.
So recorded land is probably where most of your property is registered. Do you know if you've registered and recorded or land court? Recorded. Most people are recorded. All right. So if you come to the registry, you'll see my department and the staff in my department. They're all lovely. So come in anytime and call us anytime. We do not guarantee bounds. So if you go to registered land, they will take longer to record for you, but they're double checking and verifying everything. We obviously have the highest volume. We're going to get you in and out the door faster. We're not guaranteeing anything, so double check what your attorney has done. We suggest that everyone who does not have a homestead put on record the right homestead. When I bought my house, I was in my 30s, and all of a sudden, I was just saying to Maggie, I got to change my homestead. I'm 65 and I forgot. So that's one of the reasons we come out to you. Did you say how much it costs?
I have
put on
not.
record? Oh, they left one thing for me. It's $37 to record a homestead, so it's well worth the effort, the cost.
Cheapest document.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
So if you own a home today and you homestead it today, and you declare that to be the place where you're living, you have the homestead protection. If you sell next year and you move on to a new house, you don't necessarily come into the registry to terminate your homestead, but it doesn't transfer to your new house. You have to declare a homestead to your new homestead.
You have to be living in the house and
Yes.
have it homesteaded.
Yes.
It is your primary place of residence.
What about mobile homes and condos? Can they get a homestead?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Do you have a question?
My husband, myself, and my son, do I need to file 3 of these?
You need to file the elderly homestead, right? Because you're over 62. I was always afraid to ask. You're over 62, so you're going to declare the elderly homestead. So that's going to be one form. Your son is not. I mean, you could probably do it all in the same form if you find a place to put the 3 names. He is an owner.
Absolutely, yes.
Not upon your passing, correct? He's an owner now. Because some people have their property in life estate where husband and wife own the property now. Upon their
Once we're both
passing,
gone, it goes to him.
then he doesn't own the property yet. That he's a remainder.
Yeah, but he
man.
lives there.
Does he live there?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
His name is on the quitclaim.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So if you look at the form that I gave to you, it says I, he would put his name there, and then we, you put your name and your husband's name there. And then you would, and then where it says number 2, we, then you put your name and your husband's name there, but not his, because he's not declaring an elderly homestead. You're the only one. So you're the only ones who will repeat your names in section 2.
Okay. And then I put my son's name where?
He's going to be I, the very first, only. That's the only place. Yes, yes, that's the only place where you'll put him. Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Okay. Shoot. Shoot.
If you have liens from your past that have been dropped, how do you search to find if they have been dropped?
Oh, we do that for
I
you.
don't know if it's been clear to, whoever I was dealing with, they're no longer pursuing,
Uh-huh.
and it goes back 20 years. So
Statute of limitation.
I know you have to be clean in order to do this.
No,
Nope.
Oh, no?
Nope.
You can still
No.
have liens
Yep.
on the property?
you declare your homestead regardless of the status of the title.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, but if you'd like to give us a call, I'll give you my phone number before I leave. We can, in the office, check those and see if they are released, how old they are, if they're still in effect, because certain liens lose their validity after a certain period of time,
Right.
even though don't get released.
That's what I think is happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, yes. Oh,
Who's next?
did you have a question?
I'm just trying to get a grip on it. So basically, the homestead is kind of like a insurance on top of an insurance? In other words, it protects you from,
So you're basically, by filing this document, you're saying this is where I live.
okay,
Therefore, I qualify for homestead protections as the state determines they are. So, say you go get in a car accident, heaven forbid, or your neighbor decides to sue you for whatever, well, what that does is that your neighbor cannot force you to sell your homestead, the house where you live, to pay them. They can still sue you, but you are not obligated to liquidate that asset, your homestead, in order to pay a debtor. The government and your mortgage company are the two entities that take first place before a homestead. Otherwise, you never get a mortgage. So if you have a mortgage on your property and you fail to pay, regardless of whether or not you homesteaded your property, they're gonna, they're gonna foreclose. And the government, the government comes first every time.
question my mother is worried about is if she goes into a nursing home and Medicaid kicks in, can they take her property?
Their
As
government.
the homestead?
They're the government.
They're the government.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no.
Well, the only thing for that is a lot of people take the property out of their name and put it in their children's name or put it in a trust.
But that goes back 5 years, so.
5
Yes,
to 7.
yes.
5 to 7 years, yeah. That's
I'm
why,
already 85.
yeah,
Go figure.
yeah.
Yes, so, no, the homestead doesn't protect you
Doesn't
against
protect you.
mass health.
Mass
and-
Health will put the lien on the property. Yeah, they would.
I have a question.
Sure.
If, I think I did this years ago, would it still be legal? Or do I have to do it again?
Kevin is going to check that for
We
you.
can check it to see if you filed one when you were under 62, and if you need to file a new one,
Under 62?
under 62.
What about over 62?
If you've already filed it over 62, you should be all set. But we'll double check it.
I don't remember. See, it was such a long time.
Yeah,
ago.
we'll
We'll
make
check
sure.
it for you. Kevin
Yeah.
will check it for you. So if anybody wants to file a homestead today, and I will get to you in 2 seconds. If anybody wants to file a homestead today, we do have the forms here. You could fill out the forms. Kevin can look up your title reference for you, put that information on the homestead. You would sign it. We do have our notary here. He can notarize your signature for you, and we could take payment. And as soon as we get back to the registry, all the documents will go on record if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so you don't even have to go to the registry. Okay?
So you can check first to see if.
Yes, Kevin will do all that for you.
If it wasn't done, then you do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanna know, I have a trust, and I don't know if it's homesteaded or not. Can I find out?
Yep, Kevin can look up stuff for you. Yep, anybody who has any questions about anything, if they have a homestead that they think they put on years ago, if you want to put a new one on, we can look it up to make sure, and you can do all that today. Yes.
You're in a trust and you don't have this information.
What is
can
that
you still
information?
do it
What does that say?
when it was recorded?
Yeah, because we can find the book and page for you. Kevin will look that up for you,
So
sir.
when I go see Kevin.
Yeah, we'll do that in a couple of minutes, okay?
You're going to be busy.
You can still fill this out. So you would fill it out up here. You're not going to fill out in the elderly, because if you're only 60, you would be there.
So you just fill
Yep,
that out,
and then Kevin can look up your book and page number to your title reference.
and then it'll still be when I turn
62, then you'd file another one.
they fill in.
Yep, and for $37, it's worth it. Yes,
You have to fill this out if your husband's not here.
This form says.
he owns the property as well?
I
Yeah,
have
th-
documentation.
oh yeah, he would have to sign it though, for the
Oh, yeah,
notary.
the $2
Yeah, yeah. He
is
would
a
have to come to
registry
sign
fee
it so
for
the notary can
postage
acknowledge
to
the
return the
signature.
form to
Okay,
you.
So this is valid.
Yes, yes, it is.
okay. So far, any questions? Yes.
If you have your home in a trust,
Mm-hmm.
does a trust, the person that is named trust, the one that has to sign this?
Yes,
The
the trustee
trustee
of
is
the
the
trust.
person that
The
signs.
trustee of the trust signs that.
Yes, that's the person. Oh, just mail it to him.
Hi, how are you?
He signs it, has it notarized, mails it back.
Okay.
It's all set.
Wonderful job.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Good, I'm glad.
That
you
happens
enjoyed
all the time.
You guys did this.
it. Yeah, we've gone to Dartmouth.
Yeah, you can
We were
fill
here
it
a
out as
couple
long as
months
he,
ago,
as
and
long
then
as he
Mount
signs it
asked
in
us to
front
come
of a
back.
notary. Yeah.
It really is, it really is.
On the fraud alert, because the property is in both our names,
Yep.
we do a fraud alert for both.